to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Honestly, it was the best night of the because Wednesday, even with because like Wednesday was a bad start, Thursday was just consistent, and then Friday was a wild end. Whee! Oh man, speaking of wild, I'm sorry. I put out a tweet. You know, you guys can go follow the Twitter still. We reached 100 followers. We just reached 100 followers. So go follow at JJ Jackets Pod to keep up with us when we're not busy like hell.
Yeah, when we're both like, you know what, we can't do it today. And then
we literally, like, I've been so busy just with work and everything else and just trying to recoup from that I haven't had time to post clips from the past couple of shows. I haven't even had time to ask you, like, what do you want to clip for this?
Yeah, it's been hell the last few weeks. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it's been crazy. We'll hand out a couple cappies. We're not going to get into the recaps just yet because I want to address something that's been talked about, but I still want to talk about it.
Sounds good to me.
You might know what it is already, and then we're going to get into some actual fun stuff throughout and some weird stuff too. But cappies, I went first last time. I think I know who you're going to pick, but
no. I know who you pick. I'll let you go pick. I'll let you pick first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, so nice of me.
What a gentleman, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with our Buckeye. I'm gonna go with Carson because he finally had his NHL debut. 55, nice number.
I kind of like it. It's kind of fitting.
Kind of fits him, doesn't it? Yeah. It's funny because I got to see him in 2018 when they were playing Mercyhurst, and they killed Mercyhurst.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 8-2.
Yeah.
He had himself a night that night too.
Good. Mercyhurst beat Canisius in the playoffs this year, so screw them. I'm glad they lost badly.
I mean, BG lost to Bemidji, and then it didn't really matter anyway because Mankato is fucking unreal.
They're unbelievable. I hope they win it tonight. I'm excited for that game.
Ugh, boo.
Nah, I'm rooting for them, man.
Dude, I can't. As a CC,
I know why you can't. I know why you can't, man. But I mean, their rise as a program's been unbelievable. But yeah, no, cool about Carson Meyer, man. I mean, he came up and we had this kind of reaction of like, interesting, like what's the deal there?
Because wasn't it on emergency recall too?
Yeah. And it wasn't anything against him. It's just this question of like, of all the guys you could call up.
You bring Carson up, eh?
Surprised that it was Carson. But we ended up getting an answer from Dina on that. Stenlund's out. Foodie's out.
Weinheimer's had something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. I forgot she covers the Monsters now. Good for Dina.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dina Weinheimer, for that.
So yeah,
Sten's out and Foodie's out?
Josh Dunn and Kevin Stenlund are not going to be back this season due to injury. So that's why none of them got a call up.
Oh, well, that's a shame because again, we were hoping for some Foodie.
That's what I was hoping for, but that makes sense to me as to why they weren't the ones called up.
Turn that down just a little bit. I guess so, yeah. Yikes. Monsters getting bit with the injury bug late.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see, that's all 3 AAA Blue Jackets alumni in the lineup between Rosie and Sean and now Carson.
Yeah, it was kind of.
It was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And he got both his first point and his first goal. He had himself a night.
Hell yeah.
You're up, sir.
I'm gonna stick to the theme of Columbus.
Yeah.
So one of those guys you mentioned, Sean Corrali, scored a goal in the win against the Flyers. Now it's just a simple empty netter. He's not getting my Kepi. But yet another Columbus product in on that play. I'm gonna give Cole Sillinger the Kepi, and let me explain to you why.
Okay.
This kid is so damn mature as a hockey player. In his rookie season, gets a breakaway, 2-0 for the empty netter. Pass the puck to Sean Corrali.
There you go.
That's a pro move. Dude's not even 19 yet. He's already doing that.
Well, it's funny because we already mentioned a bunch of stuff with his hat trick last episode a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
With just him, being as young as he is. Again, this kid hasn't even turned 19 yet, and he's already like putting up wild hat trick numbers. And then he does this. And he's already so selfless.
I love his game. I do. There's just so much growth.
It helps when your father is like, a decently notable name, at least when it comes to moving around the league.
For a long time.
He played for 10 teams, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
he played for as many teams as Ole Jokinen.
Jesus Christ.
Granted, I just watched a career video on Ole Jokinen, and 3 of those teams were in one season.
Yeah, that'll happen with like waivers and trades and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was 2 different trades.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh,
10 teams for Mike Sillinger. Yeah.
No, I was looking. UC Jokinen played for 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Jokinens had some. They've been around a little bit.
A little bit, didn't they? Yeah. Well, let's hope that Mike's son can stick around here for just as long.
Yeah, let's hope that he doesn't play for 10 NHL teams. Let's hope he plays for 1.
Yeah. Blue Mouth, I love his whole thing. Like, I can't get enough of the Blue Mouth Guard crazy sellies where he just screams and you just see it hanging out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's just like, he's already so jacked to be an NHL player.
Yeah.
And you love it.
It should be, man. I love his game.
Oh, yeah. Cole Sillinger, Carson Meyer, just a couple of Columbus kids. And that's Kepi Keeper. That was a nice like local Kepi Keeper. I like that.
Exactly. That's the way we do it.
Oh yeah, baby. This story's already like over a week old, but I kind of still wanted to talk about it. We can't obviously like play the clips or the audio or whatever because we're just 2 dudes, right? Mm-hmm. But the Ducks Yotes thing with Tyson Nash on the call between Jay Beagle, Trevor Zegras, and Troy Terry. Man, old hockey minds, is one thing.
Jake, get off my lawn. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, here's the worst part about it is in the grand scheme of things,
he's not really that old either. Like, he's not really that far removed, Tyson Nash.
I was gonna say he's not really wrong, is he? He's not wrong. What he's saying is right.
The way that he said it
is the fact that it's right. Because he's describing the NHL.
Yes.
But what we want is something different.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are tired of the fact that, someone shows some skill against you and scores. Here's an idea. Rather than your response being, okay, we just need to defend him better. so we're not going to let him do that the rest of the game.
Our response is going to be,
let's go in there beating the shit out of him. Give me rebound, greasy goals, or give me death. That's the National Hockey League. Don't even think about making a highlight reel play, or else I'm going to hit you in the face.
Unless you're Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews, screw it.
Yeah.
Literally, unless you're either of those two younger guys who are pretty established at this point.
Yeah. I remember the early ages of Crosby's career. It was the one against the Flyers.
Ovi against the Coyotes. Against the Coyotes.
Well, I'm talking about like the time that who was it on the Flyers? Was it Darian Hatcher who just beat the ever living shit out of him?
Yes, Hatcher absolutely ruined his face.
Yeah.
Which Beagle did to Troy Terry, which like you've seen the picture on Twitter.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous.
He barely opened his eye.
When it happened to Crosby in 06 or 07, I can't remember what year it was, but
one of those.
The response was, wow, what a great response from Sid. Now he has officially earned his stripes in this league. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what?
No.
You need to get the shit beaten out of you for people to finally respect it?
No. I mean, we saw that with Connor having to heal his own PCL after the Manning thing, you know? That too, right? So the way that Connor became a man in the NHL is being a mutant and healing his own freak injury.
I tell you, say what you want about roughing the passer. At least you can make an argument, and it's a legitimate one, that the NFL cares about their star players.
Mm-hmm. Right. They don't care about Baker Mayfield, but
there's a lot of other shit that they don't care about.
I feel bad. I do feel bad for Baker though, because he's just like in this limbo right now.
I don't play better.
Right. or don't be Deshaun Watson.
Here's an idea.
Anyway.
And maybe stop making progressive commercials that suck.
Anyway.
Or maybe continue. Maybe that's your career.
So Tyson Nash. This dude.
Tyson, man, bro.
Did you know he played in Japan?
Shut the hell up. Shut up.
Did you know he played in Japan?
I did not know that.
He finished his career in fucking Japan, dude. He played for the Marlies. He played for the Marlies, and then he played for Japan. I think he played for about 12 years. Something like that.
Yeah. But let me see. Wow.
Because it was like
97 career goals. Mm-hmm. You know, I now understand why he didn't like
why he took the Beagle. Skilling it up was the big phrase that was circling.
Wow, it's amazing. You can play 119 career games for the Coyotes and score 3 goals. And
his apology,
you're the color analyst.
His apology was really dumb because he really just apologized for saying skilling it up and meaning hot dogging. Which is, I mean,
I hate the phrase hot dogging. Guys, hot dogging. Where the hell did the phrase hot dogging come from? I think it's just a stupid phrase.
The first time I ever
think of hot dog, and I think of Phil Kessel.
Exactly, right? Yeah. The good kind of hot dogging with the Stanley Cup. I think the first time I ever heard, like the earliest instance I ever heard of hot dogging was obviously before our time. The Statue of Liberty save that Waugh had.
I was gonna say that I remember that too. Patrick Waugh just got caught hot dogging.
Yeah, exactly.
Give it all. How do you do? And he dropped his mic.
He was gonna give it the old how do you do? You gave it the old. I love it. You gave it the old timey.
But it's like, I think it's stupid. I'm sorry. You see the goal, man.
Dude,
celebrate.
You've seen what Trevor Zegras can do. Let him do it. And okay, I didn't like that it was Troy. I guess somebody had to step up for Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of still didn't like that it was Troy.
Yeah, no, here's the thing, man. Like, I hate the idea that if you're a young player in the National Hockey League with skill, you need to have some sort of, goon by you before you earn your stripes. Like, hey, it's ridiculous.
I get standing up for yourself, which Connor's kind of doing that with the elbows thing at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
Austin knows how to take care of himself. You've seen how Austin
Austin's
Matthews
fine
can
with it.
carry himself on the ice.
Yeah. Nobody touches Crosby anymore.
Well, because he's going to judo flip you like he did Faravari.
Yeah. That's what Zegras needs to do. Maybe he needs to slice somebody's finger off.
Oh, right, that too. Oh, I forgot about the Mathot thing.
Yeah. But it's ridiculous, man.
I mean,
you know what my favorite part about the goal is?
What?
I thought it was hilarious the first time I watched the Michigan he did against the Coyotes, because my first thought.
Oh, that's right, because you said he didn't need to do it.
He just didn't need to do it.
Because I remember we talked about the actual goal, right?
Yeah, it was so wide open.
But this was a separate thing, right?
Yeah.
This was a separate. This was a different game, I think.
No, it was the same one.
The same game?
It was the same game.
Huh. Okay, because I know the incident was different, because it was like it was a different kind of goal, and then there was the cross check. That Beagle responded to the Michigan that was already scored. Like it was already what, 5-0?
Yeah, it was already 5-0 at that point.
But the Michigan was scored to make it 3.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're dealing with this way too late.
I can't remember what happened right before it that like kind of like brought it back up, but down 5-0, I think Zegras made another skilled play. Some whistle happened.
Oh, he just made another awesome play.
And
all right.
And then the things kind of happen that way.
I will say my favorite contribution in this whole thing is Louis holding Trevor back and just like being an actual good guy and protecting Trevor Zegras.
Louis Erickson's just like, you know what? I'm being paid $6 million a year to make sure that you don't get the absolute living shit being out of you.
He's holding back his opponent like, dude, no, trust me. Like, you don't want this, Trev. So good on Louis for holding Trevor back, even though I'm sure Trevor was pissed and really wanted to go after Jay after that.
Yeah.
Jay and his 1 goal. Meanwhile, Troy's got 32.
Mm-hmm. Man, it begs the question as far as the Coyotes are concerned. Like, I mean, Jay Beagle, like, he's not even an NHL player at this point.
Well, no, and the
he's literally only there because
about
of his contract.
Yeah, exactly. He's only there because of the cap dump.
Same with Roussel.
Well, you know, Adam said this exact thing where it was Louis and Jay kind of only really there because of the contract dumps, and Roussel could be an NHL player on like a league mid deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's exactly how Adam put it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to take away from this is honestly Tyson's commentary, right? And our friend Sarah said Tyson Nash shouldn't be on TV ever again after that.
I'm not going to say that.
I mean, she is a Coyotes reporter.
Yeah.
So that's her opinion. I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not willing to say that. And I'm going to, here's the thing. This line of thinking isn't exclusive to Tyson Nash.
Right. There are a lot of older school guys.
This is just hockey being hockey.
Yeah, it's hockey being hockey for sure.
Which is frustrating. And I understand. Like, I agree. Like, it's bullshit. It shouldn't be like that. But
the sport is changing for a reason.
Tyson Nash isn't going to change anything.
No, and it's the same reason why I think if, you know, let's say Ken Danico had a boneheaded opinion, which he kind of doesn't. I'll only say Ken Danico because we brought him up the last show. Right? Like, imagine Ken saying something or Jody saying something that was really just kind of off color, which I can't see Jody saying anything like that either.
Jody had a hilarious call that Kaylee pointed out the other day. Did you see it?
No.
Like when they started the second period against Boston, they showed Brandon Marchand. He's like, and Marchand, Mr. Evil.
Mr. Evil.
And Boston fans are loving it. They thought it was hilarious. So.
That's great. God, I want to meet Jody first, and then I want to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Hell, get him in thanks to Mike, right? Like, I still think I'm just still blown away by our Mike Todd episode.
Yeah.
Still, like, go watch that, please, if you haven't. He was so much fun, so insightful, really cool guest. We need to start booking more. We're gonna get our buddy Mark on at some point before season's end. Yeah. Anyway, the Beagle, Zegras, Troy, and Nash saga. There's a lot of T's in there. there's a lot of T's in there. And it's really just kind of, at this point, when do you allow for the game to evolve into what we've been seeing? When you just allow for that while still keeping enough of the physicality to it? I would hope soon.
I don't know, because at the end of the day, like, it's not just a National Hockey League problem. We've seen some evolution in the game. We're seeing a hell of a lot more skill.
Yes,
but
they're getting faster,
more skill, and I guess you could say physicality is starting to slowly decrease. Not significantly.
No, it's always going to be a physical sport. We know this.
It is. The NHL has never been more skill oriented than it is today. And that's a good thing. It needs to continue that way.
Yes,
exactly. That mindset has never left the game. And that's a mindset that's instilled for these players when they grow up. So it's difficult. How do you change that entire culture? It always comes back to culture of hockey.
It is, yes. It always comes back to the all-encompassing culture. And again, you can't take the physicality out of it by any means.
And we're not suggesting to do it.
No.
I don't want to take, the physicality.
I don't want to take great hits. I don't want to take really nice, clean hits out of it. There are a lot of plays that obviously
the Radko Gudas hit, the hip check
that just happened.
Yeah, where he flipped the dude.
Those are fun. I mean,
yeah, I want to
as long as it's clean, it's fun to watch. Like we were just talking, when we talked about RJ last show. I finally watched his call of the Campbell Umby hit.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's such a classic hit. He trucked RJ, like this poor guy. But we love you, RJ, so much. But it's like those are hits that you love to watch in this sport.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to take those away.
Yeah, we don't.
But things like the cross-checking that was going on, the unnecessary, total just... I get policing the game, but you don't need to have a dude go that ballistic for nothing. Yeah. For pettiness, honestly. It was really just over pettiness.
It's something about a fourth line guy who doesn't really even belong in the National Hockey League, just beating the ever-living shit out of a really good player who does.
An emerging star.
Yeah.
Because Troy Terry is an emerging star.
Yes, absolutely. He's a hell of a hockey player.
He's been so great this year.
He is.
I've loved what he's done.
It's him and Zegras. And there's other group
and Sonny
players in the Ducks who are up and coming, but it's those two who are really headlining.
It's really those two, but I mean, you can add Sonny to that because Sonny's
and Jamie Drysdale
and Jamie.
John Gibson's been there, but it's these two guys, Troy Terry and Trevor Zegras, who are the headliners.
Right, they're spearheading the whole thing. and I hope that they continue to do so and
Mhm.
really put a bright spot on the actual fun, crazy acrobatics that this sport can have.
Yeah.
The home and homes, there's really not much to say from the two home
Two
and homes that
teams
we
that are
have.
struggling one against each other, and they both split.
The Boston one, you still want the one at home.
Yeah.
Got a
Yeah.
point out of it, even though it's it's a team that's way too far ahead anymore.
That's a team that's getting hot at the right time. A really good team.
Mhm.
And it sucks. They only get 1 point against them, but yeah, Jake, I thought they played 2 pretty good games against them.
They still haven't solved their Krejci replacement problem. I mean, you can never replace David Krejci, but
I was surprised by that, Jake. I thought he was gonna play overseas this year and then
Mhm.
pull a Mike Fisher.
Oh, and then come back for the playoffs. Yeah,
I thought he was gonna come back by trade deadline and sign his contract for the rest of the year to get ready for the playoffs. And it just
oh,
never happened. Because it never felt like Tuukka Rask wasn't going to be a part of the Bruins this year. I felt the same way about Krejci. I was stunned when it didn't happen.
it's been weird to see Bergeron out with so many injuries this year too. So it's like
Yeah.
they've had to rely on their depth a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Holla is kind of turning into that guy.
Yeah. No, he's been
Because
heavily on the second.
you're mixing up Holla and Coyle.
Yeah.
And I think
like it.
Cassidy needs to just pick. If I'm being brutally honest, Bruce needs to just pick.
Honestly, I think Charlie Coyle's a better player, but I feel like he fits the third line well.
Yes.
I think he's better on the third line, and I think Hall is better on the second line.
I think Eric has definitely built up a lot of chemistry with Taylor Hall.
Yeah. He just plays the way that they want their second line center to play, doesn't he?
He kind of does, right? Yeah. I mean, he chipped in a couple of goals during the home and home, and
yeah, he's got some bite to his game. I've really, back when he was with Minnesota to go into Vegas,
in Minnesota, yep.
He
was really
kind of been up and down the last couple of years, but I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for Eric Holla. I like his game.
Yeah. I like
I
Coyles.
see that he's doing well in Boston. I think it's a fit.
It's funny, two X Wild doing well in Boston. Who would have thought?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think, and Coyle's been so good for the Boston Bruins the last several years as their third line guy when Krejci was there.
Yep.
I don't think there's any reason to change it. He's good in that role, so I think you just let him excel in that role.
Jake is. Do you think they're still going to try the sign and trade? Because DeBrusk has been looking pretty good.
I don't know, man. I always thought that the whole trade request wasn't so much about getting out of Boston. It was more of just a general sense as a player that I need to change the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, I think he's going to go to Bruins management this offseason and be like, I don't need to change the scenery. I've got.
Oh yeah, I've been fine now.
Yeah, and I feel good about where I'm at as a player.
Felt bad for Nick not at least getting something.
Yeah,
would have been fun to at least see that. I know his interview with Jody was really fun. It was really. Yeah. I was watching that and I was just like, "Oh, Nicky, I miss you, bud."
They did some sort of a video for him, right?
They did a video for him. I'm assuming we did one for Cam as well. I will say, okay.
The video for Cam was great.
This is such a weird thing to me that the schedule is this late. And it's only now. What?
Dwayne Haskins died.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jesus. Schefter just tweeted it.
Oh. I guess we'll come back to that.
Wow.
We'll come back to that, I guess. I guess we're ending the show on that now. Yikes. But to get back to this, I get wow.
Jesus.
How do you get out of that?
Wow. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, God, wow.
Whoa. Hopefully a few more details emerge over the next like hour. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, just continue this conversation.
Yes. The schedule being this late and this being the only times we're gonna play Philly. So like it took them this long for Cam to make his return to Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was weird to me.
I mean, it just goes into just how the NHL schedule makers are shitty at their job.
Yeah, you would have thought that,
especially because it's a divisional opponent.
Yeah, divisional opponent. You would have thought they played him more. You would have thought that he would have come to Columbus sooner, right? Because didn't they play another game in Philly earlier in the year where Jake got to have his tribute and everything?
Yeah, and it wasn't super late either. Let me pull up their schedule because I want to say was it December?
It was so because we've played 3 games against. I feel like we've only played the 2, maybe just because it was that quick.
Oh, it's just
that's really weird to me. That it's still so weird that this was Cam's first game back in Columbus, and it's so late in the season. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I totally agree.
Something that just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, so January 20th, we beat them 2-1.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember that. And that was Jake's first game back in Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we didn't play him again until this home and home.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, NHL? I get that there's a whole thing with trying to fit things in, and there was all the COVID pauses, and there was the Olympic stuff. You could have put it in February.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Because when I looked at the schedule and they showed all the canceled games, it wasn't one of the canceled games. So they just naturally scheduled for them to face a divisional. They didn't have us face a divisional opponent until January, late January, and then
not again until yeah.
I don't know.
And
fix your shit. Fix your shit, Gary.
Fix your shit. Gary's got a lot of shit he needs to fix, and like you've said before, a lot of it's his fault.
Well, yes, it's because he sucks at his job.
Yeah. So, Zach's got some company.
What would that be?
Kent Johnson signed a 3-year entry-level deal.
Yeah.
And some other dude that I was honestly surprised. Michigan's captain, Blankenburg, is going to sign on for the rest of the year. So
yeah, I was surprised.
Okay, so he signed a 1-year, right?
Yeah.
He signed a 1-year entry-level contract, which basically for Blankenburg just signs him through the end of this for, a few games.
Yes, and then they'll extend him in the offseason.
Hopefully they do. We'll see.
But
if they don't, he's going to go to market and he'll find somewhere else.
I'll tell you, man. Love it. Blankenburg's got an interesting story.
Does he really?
Just a guy that he wasn't a scholarship player until this year.
Oh, that's right. Because isn't he a little bit of an overeater?
I think so.
Isn't he like 24?
Yeah, but it's a guy who kind of just battled his way onto the roster, and his teammates love him, and hell of a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Good player. I'm excited about him, but I mean, obviously,
bolster the D a little bit.
Yes. yeah. But more importantly, Jake, it's KJ time.
KJ's here, baby. Let's fucking go.
I'm so excited about KJ, man.
Dude, you have been excited for Ken Johnson since the pick.
Yeah, because, and I'm not gonna lie to you, part of it's just because he went to Michigan, and they just do such an unbelievable job at developing hockey players.
I mean, it's weird that, isn't it funny how Columbus of all teams just ends up with all this Michigan talent.
I would say keep doing it. I'm not even kidding. If I'm a GM, I would draft at least one player every year who's going to Michigan.
Like, you know what I mean, though?
Mm-hmm.
Because with the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry thing, I know it's not as much of a thing in hockey as it is in football.
I mean, it's still a rivalry,
huge,
but like,
it's still a huge thing in hockey, yeah.
Because I don't know, like obviously big people will be rooting for Ohio State hockey and say that the whole hate Michigan and everything like that. But like, I generally feel like as far as like players are concerned, people don't really care in Columbus about like if a great player comes from Michigan, they're just like, he's a Blue Jacket, like
right.
And that's the thing I'm talking. Like is they develop. Dude, look at this list. From obviously with Owen Power, Matty Beniers, Luke Hughes, and Ken
just
Johnson.
The guys from this draft.
Just this draft. And, Brenda Brisson too, Eric Portillo, Johnny Beecher. They got so many good players. But just look at the guys that they've developed: Kyle Connor, Jacob Trouba. Yeah. Dylan Larkin, Zach Wierenski, Max Pacioretty, Carl Hagelin.
Patches, eh?
Yeah.
Huh.
They've
that's
over the years.
Me.
Josh Norris, JT Compher. Thomas Bordelot is on that team this year too. He's going to be a good player.
Like I said, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Johnson coming through Columbus.
Yeah, Jack Johnson as well. I mean,
these guys crank out. I saw a thing because there's the artillery guys posted a thing that said, "Welcome to Columbus" with that, the M's exit out, right? And it was it was Kent and Blank, and they were, just sitting there with their contracts, like in Michigan's arena, like in the concourse or whatever. And they have on this one side, I think the statistic was something like 122 NHL players developed at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a great, great hockey program.
It is. And here, what I like most about them is like, there's always this kind of question, and
it's a shame they lost. We'll just say that right now. It's a shame they lost.
Oh God, I couldn't believe they lost. But as far as like the talent's concerned with some of these teams, I remember we drafted Sonny Milano, and the concern about him was he's so skilled that you worried about is his game going to be complete when he developed. And that was the only. It wasn't going to be too much of a concern. Not nearly as much with KJ as it was with Sonny, but that was maybe the only concern. But Michigan does such a great job developing those specific kind of players. And Sonny eventually got figured out. He needed to change the scenery. He got it.
Yeah.
And the league's starting to change a little bit. It's favoring Sonny, and Sonny's a hell of a player now.
I mean, playing with Troy and Trevor helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, it does. So good for him. But I'm so excited about Ken Johnson because I feel so comfortable with the place that he went to develop.
Okay, so we know when he's on roster. If he gets into a game, if he gets into a few games here to finish, does he just slot in for Justin and then, play with like Robbie and, you know what I mean? What do you do? Do you put him on the third line, give him a little bit more minutes already, and put Corrali down there? What do you want to? Where do you want to see KJ go to just start?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, you don't think so? You think
I would put him with Line A.
No.
Jake, I mean, that's the long-term goal is for this guy.
I know that's the long-term goal, but like, do you really want to throw the kid to the fire already?
I think you do it.
We know Cole could do it.
Why not?
You know what? Yeah, why
not? If you don't want to put him with Line, put him with Bjorkstrand.
Put him with Oliver. You'll have, a little bit more defensive
Put him with
help on
Albert
your wing.
Gus.
That'll definitely help your defensive wing depth, like, and just ease him into that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the goal long term is you want this guy to play with Patrick Laine, and you want this guy to be a center.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next year, I'd imagine when he's up for the team, he's not going to be playing on the first line because they're just going to continue to roll with Boone,
Right,
with Laine
and
Jake. But I'd imagine they're going to, next year when he's up, they're going to give him some looks with Laine too.
You would think maybe on like power play.
Yeah, they're going to play together on the power play.
That would be fun. As far as Blankenburg goes, I kind of like that little under the radar signing though, too.
Oh, I love it.
It just threw him right on it in there, like, cool. I don't know. Do you try him with Gabby? Because you said
honestly,
our top three guys. I don't know how. Okay, I don't know how defensive minded Blankenburg is.
He's more defensive minded than anything. I'll tell you that.
Okay,
he's not an offensive guy.
Cool. Because I know we've said previously, you've said previously, our top three guys in Z and Boki and Vlad, they're not really that defensive at all.
Yeah, now that Z's back, I think I want to run the pair of Z and Bean.
But Bean back up there? Okay.
Here's the thing, man. Bean struggled. He's struggling. I think he needs someone to kind of carry the weight a little bit.
Maybe.
And Z can do that, And here's the thing with Bean, man. I'm not expecting this guy to be great defensively.
Well, no.
I know that that's not his game, but
we saw that in Carolina. That's absolutely not his game.
I want to see what he could do. I think we've seen glimpses of what he can do offensively. We just need to see some consistency with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many defensemen in the National Hockey League better at helping drive offense than Zach Werenski.
Well, no. This dude led defensive scoring for a full year, 1 year, with 20 fucking goals.
I would say you should probably continue. I would go with Werenski and Bean.
Z and Bean.
And then I don't know. Maybe, honestly, yeah. I think I would want to see him with Gavrikov.
Blankenburg, Gavrikov?
Responsible enough of a player, two-way game,
mm-hmm.
to kind of help him out, and they can figure it out and do it together. And then your third pair is whatever. I mean, we just don't have a lot of depth defensively.
Peak and Carlson,
I suppose.
Right? Like, I mean, because I know, okay, no, you want Boqvist in the lineup.
Yeah.
So then Peak and Boki mostly, unless you want to try to put Carlson on the left. I don't know.
I almost wonder, if you do Boqvist with Gavrikov and maybe try and see how this kid looks with Carlson.
Carlson and yeah, I kind of like that. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun. And then obviously the other kid, number 1, 2021, signed his.
Yeah. I can't tell you how excited. I tell you, man. He was talking about this with my buddy Adam yesterday.
Power up.
Because obviously I know a lot of Sabres fans. I talk to a lot of Sabres fans.
Dude, I think we know this by now.
It became official that they were going to miss the playoffs again, 11th straight year.
This is the most futile any team's ever been.
Mm-hmm. And like the meme that like people do, like the fake banner hanging.
Yeah,
someone did that where funny. It was 11 straight missed playoffs, but this year it's good vibes.
But this year it's great. Well, I mean, it is.
And that's become the meme in Buffalo. People call them the good vibes Sabres. Because people are starting to like this team again. I think
Dude.
RJ Knight did exactly what the Sabres hoped it would. Not only honoring RJ, but it's
Mhm.
starting to reunite the fan base a little bit.
Bring hope back into Buffalo a little bit. Yeah.
I'm in a journalism class. It's like a senior portfolio project kind of class.
Yes,
And
I had that.
my buddy Vinny has been doing a piece on the Sabres attendance.
Okay.
Really good piece. And basically what he wanted to do was, he looked at statistics for the Bills.
Shout out Vinny again, I guess, because this is what, your 5th time shouting this dude out?
Dude, I love Vinny. Vinny's great. You would love him. That dude could talk days on end. He's unbelievable. But he's talking about like this, attendance for the Bills when they're struggling, attendance when the Sabres where they're struggling. Bills didn't come down much. Sabres is. What's the difference? And then he talked to some people, did some interviews with some different fans. He talked to Dwayne for well over an hour.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he had a really good conversation with him. But the most interesting part about it was he was there on RJ night. And he did
I love it.
a bunch of interviews with a bunch of fans. And a lot of fans were like, we've been so upset with ownership that we haven't been coming to games, and we wanted to come out here to honor RJ.
Mhm.
And we started to realize how much we missed going to Sabres games.
Oh,
And since RJ night, it's not like their attendance has been crazy high, but
right.
it's starting to go back up again. And it's also coupled with the fact that the team's winning hockey games against pretty good teams. They're competitive on just every night, man. Don Granato, I can't give enough credit to this guy and what a job he's done with this team.
Donnie Meeples.
Yeah, Donnie Meeples, man.
And
I'm a meatball believer.
It's not just Granato either, because like the Eichel trade did wonders for just like letting people breathe.
Morale. Yeah, it did. It's there was a sense. When you say relief, I agree because there's a tension there.
Yeah.
And
there was always a tension with the Eichel thing.
Everybody can kind of just, like I said, just breathe. It's gone. It's over. We're moving forward. And then Alex Tuck comes in, and he's a good player. Is he Jack Eichel? No, he's still he's still a player. And
hometown kid
wants to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for the room. Peyton
Need that.
Looks pretty good.
Peyton loves it there.
Yeah, Darlene, the last 2 months, man. Boy, has he had a really good turnaround for the second half of his season. He looks amazing. Jack Quinn's going to be really good. But and then also just the emergence of Tage Thompson.
And Tage is Tage, I wanted to bring up right off the bat. He has been revitalized.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Skinner and Okposo too. Those two guys are jumping.
Okposo is 4th on team scoring. He's at 18 goals and 41 points.
Oh, that's
Skinner just scored his 30th.
Yeah, Skinner's back, baby.
Tomer's at 32 right now through 69 games. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's crazy. Tage Thompson in 214 career games has 50 goals. 32 of them are this season. You want to talk about a breakout? I mean, this guy has... Dude, I need to send you his J Fresh card. It's hilarious.
Isn't he also, like, huge?
Oh, he's 6'5", 6'6".
It's like 6'7" or something like that. He's gigantic.
Oh, yeah. No, he's 6'7". Damn, he's even taller than I thought. big dude.
Okay.
I gotta show you this dude's player card. It's hilarious when you just look at, like, the war projectile. It's literally like a straight line.
Can I just say that the Buffalo Sabres social, like the Buffalo's Twitter, knocked it out of the park with the charging thing?
Yeah.
For the Owen Power announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was spot on, beautiful. And then, what do? Do you go ahead and pair him with Rasmus?
I'm not pairing him with Pat. I'm pairing him with Pysyk.
Pysyk? Okay.
Pysyk off the bat, I think, is his best fit, honestly.
Power and
Pysyk. I want to see Rasmus Dahlin play a little bit with Matthias Samuelsson.
Okay.
I like those two together.
I like the alliteration of Power and Physic.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, look at the chart. It's a straight line.
Whoa, the word! Oh my goodness! Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, he went from 3% to 93%.
Oh, wow!
I'm not sure if it is, but I'd be willing to say at the end of the year.
And look at his finishing. His finishing is almost the exact fucking same.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'd be willing to bet that his as far as like his jump from last year to this year, it's probably the biggest jump in terms of WAR that we've seen in the National Hockey League.
I do like that 87% in teammates quality too.
Yeah, he's playing with good teammates, man. His finishing's great. Goals per 60 is great. You know, it's not like a, substantial difference. Like,
well, it's funny. Okay,
like some players, but I mean, he's still, drawing more penalties that he's taking.
Because we forget as the years go by that Tage, was a big part of the O'Reilly deal.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you look at, the Blues went ahead and won a cup with O'Reilly, and he immediately got named captain, and he's been a big part of the Blues. Kind of only took until now for Tage to get his stride going.
Well, I mean, it was a move that Granato made. It was so simple. We're just gonna let this guy play center. This guy's better on the center than he is on the wing. And more importantly, I think that they're just letting him drive offense. And you know what? On the power play, he's their line A.
Oh, I like that.
They put him in that spot. He's got a heavy shot. He's 6'7". He's got
well, yeah, of course he's gonna have a heavy shot if he's
so like they're just like, we're gonna put you in that spot. And we're like,
I was gonna say, because isn't Patty 6'5" as well? Like,
yeah,
he's a lot bigger than people give
him
credit for.
Ovi's like what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Pretty big guy, yeah.
Yeah, those guys. You get that size, and it's amazing how, like, with those guys.
Well, because like Austin is like 6'2", 6'3", and he's got the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And we'll mention Austin here in a little bit.
I'm sure we'll gush over him for a while.
God. But yeah, more power to the Sabres. Love it. And yes, I have to get creative with these. It's been too long for me to not get creative with these. Did you hear about this?
I think you and I have very different definitions of creative.
Did you hear about this Niagra controversy?
No.
So something went down with the Ice Dogs. I think it was like their coach and their GM, or at least a coach and an assistant coach, have been suspended indefinitely. And they both got a combined fine of like $150,000 for a bunch of like xeno and homophobic language and stuff like this. I don't know the full story.
You know what, Jake? This was bound. Things have been going too good lately. We haven't heard too many stories.
I was gonna say we haven't had it. Yeah,
I was like, the getting was too good. This had to happen.
We haven't had a really shitty story in a while, right?
Hockey hasn't had a shitty story in a while.
So in terms of just culture,
we got to change that.
In terms of just culture stuff, yeah. And the fact, okay, this is what we've talked about in the past with how the culture just needs to change from the top in order for it to permeate down. Because we had incidents internationally, the Smerrick thing. We've had incidents, obviously, in the NHL with racial stuff. We've had, most of this has been like racial stuff. We had the Subban thing. We had Boko stuff in the A. And now with this homophobia kind of stuff, which I thought at least the NHL's kind of passed with the Pro Cop signing and everything, right? This is happening at the junior level, Jay.
It is.
This is happening at the major junior level.
It's like we said, man. It is not just a National Hockey League problem. It is a hockey problem.
The fact that this is happening with young teenagers
Mm-hmm.
and their coaches and executive staff. Again, I don't know what was said, what the context is. Like, I don't know if this was said about players or about, other members of the staff or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the story enough to really provide background to it. But this is just something that needs to stop.
Yeah.
I get that hockey is a tough, manly sport.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want like a brighter side to this, and I know this is more gender than sexuality or whatever. I wish I could remember her name, but that goaltender in the queue that just played in a couple of games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because that was another really awesome story that we just kind of forgot to mention.
I think we talked about it.
Did we at least talk about it? I hope we did, because that was one of those stories that is the good coming out of those junior leagues, right?
It was Eve.
Eve, right? Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great on Eve Gaston. But this is another black eye to these junior leagues, especially with a team like Niagara, which has a lot of decent history.
Yeah.
Like, so they get suspended indefinitely, and as far as I am aware, the quote unquote indefinite part is until minimum 2024.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So we're not going to see these coaches or these staff members for a while.
That's good. I'm actually surprised by that. Good on them for like actually taking a legitimate
stance.
Yeah.
And actual punishment. Yeah. Because I know the money really shouldn't be that much, even for a major junior coach and GM or whatever. Now, a combined $150,000.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll be able to at least pay that just fine. But to not coach and to not do your managerial job for,
I mean, it's like a death sentence, especially in those kinds of
2.5 years. Yeah.
It's a long time out of hockey. Good luck getting a job after that, because people are gonna and here's the sad thing, Jake. It's not going to be necessarily just because of what you said or what you did. It's going to be just because of how long you're out of hockey.
That too. Yeah. You will be forgotten.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to care. Another tough one. Doug Wilson, general manager of the San Jose Sharks for 19 years, man. He's stepping down due to health concerns.
I hope he's okay.
I do too. We don't know exactly what it is,
because he's been out for
Felix
since the early stages of the season, I think, right?
Yeah, he had been out. They brought in an interim, and now they're just making it official. He stepped away early in the year, and now he's completely removing himself, which Doug Wilson did a lot of good for this franchise as a general manager.
Yeah, no, he was a very, very, very good GM for a while. But the game's passed him up at some point. And honestly, like, I hope he's okay, but I think this is just the right time.
I think especially just because he needs to focus on whatever is ailing him. It was the better move to make. To just go ahead, just to, say, hey, I need to focus on me. It's not, I don't even think the game's really passed him by as much as it is just, health's got to take precedence at some point.
Yeah. And I think this kid, do we know who the replacement is?
It's still the interim right now. They're quoted as saying they're going to go on a very extensive search.
I like that. They're going to go on a very extensive search where they ultimately bring in some hilarious retread or just remove the interim tag.
They're either going to remove the interim tag, or they're going to bring in a retread,
or they're going to bring in Peter Shriley.
They're going to bring in Peter Shriley. They're going to do the Kyle Davidson thing.
Yeah, I feel like that's more.
So
more like do.
The other thing too is they are not the ownership is very, very against a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. Stay the course, I guess, if that's what the ownership wants to do.
Yeah. For me, I'm not sure what the Sharks' direction is.
I don't know because I know they have
they're rebuilding, but they're not.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because they're keeping Burns, they're keeping Eric.
I tell you, man, we talk a lot.
We talked about how Vlasic is really cumbersome contract-wise.
I was just about to say, people bring up the Couture contract and the Carlson contract and Brent Burns, and they just extended Hurdle, man. But it's
I was going to say the Hurdle one, yeah. The Vlasic one is the big anchor, yeah.
I don't know what you do with that contract. I genuinely, let me tell you, man, because part of the problem. I think
you just got to try to wait that one out, Jay. You just got to try to wait it out.
Oh, that's brutal.
Because I know you can't do much with that, but you can't.
Brutal in a rebuild, man. I want to see let me look at his.
You can't do much even without it. If you buy him out, you're fucked. We went over his contract.
About buying him out, in my opinion. Let me see here. I want to see how long his no.
Because when do you bring in guys like Weisblatt? When do you bring in guys like Eklund?
Mm-hmm. Merkley too.
Merkley is it? Yeah.
Okay, so after this season, he will have one more year of a no move clause.
Okay.
I wonder if there's any way they talk about trying to get him to waive it
next year
in the off season,
or this. Okay.
Like this specific off season. If you can't, then you at least have the modified no movement clause next year, which I'm not sure what teams are on it, how many teams are on it, but at least you have some wiggle room to maybe make something happen.
Maybe
you're gonna have to trade assets.
You're really gonna
contract. But let me tell you, man, if you can get him to waive his no move clause, I'm willing to pay the price to get that contract to Arizona. And I think Arizona would be more than willing to take it because that's $7 million that gets him closer to the cap floor.
I was going to say that's a team that could definitely use it just for floor purposes, which is a whole other monster on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that even the Coyotes struggle enough as is, and the fact that they're struggling to reach the cap floor.
Yeah.
And the whole ASU thing is going to make that even worse. Mostly.
Yeah.
I did hear that just to talk about Arizona really, really quickly, they are meeting the city council with Tempe is meeting soon, if they haven't already, to discuss the further plans for the arena and what have you.
Good.
So good on them for making progress with that. But yeah, the biggest thing is just wish Doug Wilson well. This dude, before our time as a player, but he was a hell of a player.
Mm. Yeah.
And he was a hell of an executive.
He was really good. I sometimes get sad at the idea of the present impacting our perception of the whole, because and it's the same thing with Ken Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Where we can both acknowledge that the last few years for Ken Holland and for Doug Wilson, and maybe not to the same extent for David Poile, but it's been rocky there.
It's been iffy with Poile.
The perception of these guys change, rightfully so, for the present. Mm-hmm. I just hope it doesn't impact people's
overall view. Yeah.
Overall, because in their primes, Ken Holland was such a good fucking GM.
Ken Holland was dynastic.
Unbelievable GM. David Poile, unbelievable GM.
David Poile made so many great moves for Nashville, like especially in the early.
Remember when he traded Martin Erat for Philip Forsberg?
That's a prime example. And then, Ken Holland ran a fucking dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And then for Doug, he had Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau do it.
So he drafted Patrick Marleau, and then he was the one who made the Joe Thornton trade.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who drafted Joe Pavelski in the 7th round.
He drafted Logan Couture.
Yeah, he traded up to draft Logan Couture. They traded up that draft to get him.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good deal. But yeah,
Hurdlemeyer, all of your current Sharks.
And you know what? And we just talked about Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Let's not forget how good he was in his prime. He drafted him too.
And trading for Burnsy.
Mm-hmm.
When they first got Brent Burns, obviously he played forward for a while, and then he officially switched to defense with the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, this guy.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder the Wookiee ran wild.
Danny Heatley.
He had Danny Heatley.
Yeah.
He had your dude. He had your favorite dude.
Yeah, man. He and most importantly, they drafted Sean Corrali.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
I didn't realize that.
People forget. Sean Corrali was a 5th round pick in 2011 of the San Jose Sharks.
I did not know that. Fun fact of the day, eh?
Yeah. Look at Jay bringing up the fun facts. You're welcome. So kind of me.
Okay. This isn't much of a debate. And I'm going to bring up...
I know what it is. It's not.
Do you know what it is?
Yes.
I'm talking about the Hart Trophy.
Yes, he's the best player. He's the best player in the National Hockey League.
The Austin bar fucking none. I had a feeling you and I were going to agree on this because it's just
I've been saying it. Some people disagree with me. Like, I'm sorry, get your head out of the gutter. Watch.
I mean, I know that there's the argument that McDavid should win just because he's Connor fucking McDavid, but at the same time, no,
give it to the best player. Sorry, best player isn't Connor McDavid anymore. Catch up,
dude.
Connor McDavid's an incredible player. Unbelievable.
Austin's clip throughout this year.
Jake scored 49 goals in those 49 games.
He could hit 50 and 50 tonight.
Yeah.
As of recording this, they're going to play, and he could score a 50th goal in 50 straight games tonight.
We're getting to a point with Austin Matthews.
And I'm going to listen. I know I made this joke last week. I'm gonna call Emmy and Christian out again. Please come hang out with us for a Saturday show. Once Austin scores 60.
I'm at a point with this guy. You bring up like he's got a chance tonight for 50 and 50. I'm just like, in my mind, when I look at Maple Leafs games, I think of Austin Matthews. My question isn't, is he going to score tonight? Is he going to get 2 or more?
Right.
I usually just account for him scoring a goal.
Yeah. And normally
my question isn't, is he going to get 50 and 50 tonight? My question is he going to get 51 and 50? Is he going to get 52 and 50? Is he going to get 53 and 50?
My question is, when is that Mitch pass coming?
Yeah.
Right? Because we know it's going to be a Mitchy pass.
What's the how do you prevent Connor McDavid from scoring? Make sure he doesn't get any shots.
Yeah. And good luck trying that.
Yeah. Dude, are you ready for this? I don't know if you've heard this. But I'm going to tell you this. He scored 2 goals against Florida. Are you ready for how incredible of a season he's had? Ready for this?
Go.
2 goals against the Florida Panthers.
In a 7-6
His shooting percentage for the season went down.
it went down.
Yeah.
This fucking kid. Okay. I watched the Maple Leaf game. I watched that Florida game. Wow, what a game that was. Dude, that second period was so stressful. I bought a Sonic milkshake just to ease my stress. I DoorDashed a milkshake just to as a stress reliever. But I watched that game and I'm just like, I'm watching Austin and I'm just like, this dude is so automatic and I love it. And it solidified for me watching all these guys, the way that this team plays.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to get a Leafs jersey. I do. I just want to throw it in my collection. I know it's mostly Blue Jackets and like a couple of Cyclones jerseys. I want to add a Leafs jersey to it.
This guy.
And honestly, I'm just so nonchalant with Austin anymore. I don't want to get a Matthews jersey because everybody has one.
That's a good question. If you had to get a Leafs jersey today, who'd you get?
I was talking about this with Butter the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's between Marner and Morgan.
Right.
I'm probably leaning Mitchie, but Morgan is Captain Morgan.
He is, which is such a great nickname.
I fucking love it. That's I mean, he's yeah.
So I'm gonna send you two things right now. All right.
Okay. Look. Okay.
Connor McDavid.
100% nearly everywhere except for defense, because of course. Both 100% war. See, this is what this is what we talked about when he scored his 50th, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Austin's defense is so underappreciated and yet it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, like you said, he's got a Bergeron-like defense.
Yeah. And like I said that, and people thought I was exaggerating.
Guys, just look at these two J Fresh cards and look at the even strength defense. I'm just going to read the numbers right now. 38, and watch the games. 38 for Connor McDavid and 88 for Austin Matthews.
As obviously with all the J Fresh cards, it's prorated over 3-year period. So Connor McDavid's defense is actually the best it's ever been in his career this year. WAR percentage per game played for defense is 51%. So essentially, he's been average this year defensively.
Fair.
Which is fine. And here's the thing, man. I talk about this all the time with defense for superstars. We talk about Ovi. I generally don't give a shit if a player doesn't play defense if they're that good offensively.
Right.
With not playing defense. McDavid could get away with not playing defense.
Draisaitl
away with it. But it's the players like Sidney Crosby and Austin Matthews who do play it, and not only just play it, are so good at it.
Bergeron,
along with what they do offensively, that makes them even more special to me.
Right.
So I take into consideration that this guy is not only
it's the all-around game.
Yeah, this guy's not only putting up video game numbers shooting the puck, Jake, he's putting up Selke numbers defensively.
I want to see where he ends up in Selke voting this year, honestly.
It's interesting.
Because we know that that's like Patrice's award.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been out for a long little, it stretches here and there, but he's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Throughout the season.
Let's see this.
And okay, I do want to do like a little bit of a playoff thing.
Yeah.
So right now, what is it? Oh God. See, because the wild card standing doesn't really tell me either. Like what the matchups would be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's okay. So it's 100 points. Okay. So I'm assuming, just reading wild card standings, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would be Florida versus Washington.
Let me pull up the.
Because it's number 1 seed versus wild card 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it would be Florida, Washington.
Which just sounds like a fun time.
It sounds like that would be pretty fun. And then 2-3 in the Atlantic is Toronto and Boston. Who doesn't want to see that classic?
What's interesting is if the season were to end today, this would be the first time in that matchup that Toronto would have home ice.
Right. That would be so helpful.
Yeah. Which is interesting. The matchup I think we're going to get in the Metro for 2 versus 3. I think the Penguins and the Rangers play each other. And am I gonna lie to you? I think the Rangers kind of want that matchup.
I think they do too.
They played so well against the Penguins this year. And then obviously you got oh my god,
Carolina, Tampa.
Dude, that's oh my god. If I'm Carolina, I'm not even gonna lie. Like Carolina, you're better off losing some games than playing Pittsburgh.
Dude, Carolina Tampa would be such a shooting gallery.
Dude, that's crazy. Carolina could seriously be the second best team in the Eastern Conference at the end of the season, win the Metropolitan Division, and be out in the first round if they end up drawing Tampa. That's insane. And
we know Tampa's going to turn it right on. God, whew, boy, I kind of want to see it now, though. Because how much fun, like literally, Carolina Tampa feels like 80s hockey in 2021. 2022, does it not?
No, we got that series last year, right?
Carolina Tampa? I think we did.
We did.
In the second round?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. God, and that
Don't mind that again.
No, please give it to me. John Cooper and Rod Brindamore just in a battle of wits. Vasi versus Freddie, dude.
Yeah, I'll take Vasi in that matchup.
I mean, I'll take Vasi, but like, come on. It's gonna be a fun little matchup in that too.
Seriously, poor Carolina, man. Here's it's crazy the concept of maybe potentially losing some games at the end of the year to kind of duck an opponent, but like, I'm sorry, I don't want to face Tampa in the first round. I don't.
And then think about this with Florida and Washington. Like just the shooting gallery between Huberdeau and Alex.
You mean the passing gallery between Huberdeau and Backstrom?
Oh, that's true. Right? Yeah, it would be Hubie to Sasha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we forget too in the Hart conversation. Like obviously it's Austin's award to lose this year.
Hart should go to Matthews.
I think he should get the Ted Lindsay too. Yeah. Why not? But I think an underrated Hart, just competition standpoint too
would be Huberdeau.
Well, not just Huberdeau, but Barkey too. Because I still think Barkov is the best overall player the Panthers have.
Barkov's 18th in the league in scoring. And that's good. What's going to be what hurts his case.
Looking at the pure numbers, yes, Huberdeau should be the forerunner for the Panthers for the Hart, because obviously he's the first 100-point scorer. He set a record for left wingers. He set this whole crazy, amazing season. I still think Barkov's the better overall player between the two of them.
Yeah, I would say so.
But that's just me. That's a quick thing.
Here's a quick thing that I'm just looking through the stats right now.
Yeah.
14th in the NHL in scoring is Kyle Connor. 41 goals, 41 assists.
Wow.
Michigan product. And then the other one, I saw this yesterday and I was laughing at it because I think this is hilarious. Because I know he has missed some time.
Yeah.
But still, Nathan McKinnon has 25 goals on the season.
Dude, Nate.
You know who else has 25 goals on the season?
How did I forget about Nate?
You know who else has 25 goals for the Avs this year?
Nas?
No.
No?
No. How many guesses is it going to take for you to get it? Who else on the Avs has 25 goals?
Who else could have scored 25? Miko?
Nope.
Couldn't be Gabe because he's missed too much time.
Yeah, not Gabe.
Right? It's not Andre, is it?
Nope.
No. 25 goal scorers on the Colorado Avalanche. Wait. It's not Kale, is it?
It's Gallagher.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kale, you monster. Listen, we talk about Yossi for Norris, which he should get it. This is what I mentioned when we first talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
With just how dominant Kale's been.
I had a question for you.
25 goals for Kale McCarr? Oh my God. Holy shit.
I got a question for you. Okay. This is a little trivia.
People, you got to remember, Kale McCarr's a defenseman, and he's like on a forward scoring pace.
So here's a little trivia question I want to see if you can get this.
Okay.
Because you might be surprised at the name.
Okay.
If you don't get it.
We still need to talk about the playoffs in the West, but go ahead.
Yeah. Who was the last defenseman to score 30 goals in a season? And I'll give you a hint. 30. It happened in 2008-2009 season.
8 or 9. Feels like Lidstrom.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Because that would be the obvious answer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2008,
how unbelievable his career was, but no.
Right.
But no, he was not. I'll give you another hint. He's a right-hand shot.
Right-hand shot. Right-hand shot. Chelios isn't.
Nope.
Or wasn't. Shea Weber's not, is he?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay. It's so hard to think of just pure right-handed shot defenseman. I don't know why. Yeah. Because probably just because they're such a hot commodity, right?
I think your jaw's going to be on the floor when you hear who it is.
Oh, no. Who is it?
It's Mike Green.
Oh, my God. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this.
31 goals for the Capitals.
Right. Yes. Well, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We talked about him retiring this year.
Did he retire this year?
He did retire. It was this year. I think it was like he had at least announced it this year.
Wow. Yeah, he kind of had a weird prime, but when he was in his prime, he was so good.
He was wow. Yeah. Playoffs in the West. This is crazy, man.
Yeah, this is where it gets
crazy because they're still fighting for it.
Mm-hmm. It's not like the East where like it's mainly determined, but
other than seeding.
Yeah.
So basically right now it's looking like Colorado's going to play Dallas. But
so we know that Colorado's going to win their division, and we know that for the most part it looks like Calgary's going to take their division as well.
Yes.
It's
a 6-point difference in the Pacific between 1 and 2.
And they also have a game at hand on the team that's 6 points behind them. So I'd have to imagine that
geographic rival and all.
Yeah. I think Calgary's going to take this division.
Colorado, Dallas, and yet again, so Vegas is 2 points behind, just outside, and Vancouver is 4. Winnipeg clawed themselves back pretty decently. I'll say that.
Yeah, they're gonna miss the playoffs.
They're gonna miss, but
it's
they
not
clawed
gonna be-
themselves back into the hunt really well.
Yeah. So it's basically looking like it's almost guaranteed that we're gonna get Minnesota versus St. Louis in the first round.
How fun would that be?
I mean, we saw that several times
Over the last couple of years.
From like 2015 to like 2018, they had like some series against each other. Those were always like, neither of those teams were great during those years, but they were always kind of fun series. So, but God, yeah, I have to give Minnesota the edge in that series. Michael, okay, here's a question for you.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but playoffs start today. You're the St. Louis Blues. You're playing Minnesota. Game 1. Who's in net?
Who's in net? Villy.
I agree.
You start with Villy.
Yeah.
That's literally that we've talked about this. Like Villy stole Bitter's job.
They're in year 1 of that deal.
Oh man.
6-year contract, man. God, that's and I don't want to criticize Armstrong too much for it.
Oh, for the Bitter deal?
You can't justify not keeping that guy, right?
I don't know.
Especially because Villy didn't establish himself at all until this year. And Binner was your guy.
Bitter, yeah, unless Bitter pulls off some sort of magic like he did when they first got him for the run, right? Unless that happens, I do think it's Villy's net going into the playoffs.
I think it should be.
And man, think about this winger matchup between like Kaprizov and Kyrou.
Yeah, and Robert Thomas too. And
Robert Thomas, yeah. Ryan O'Reilly versus like Eriksson Ek.
Yeah. It's a fun matchup. I'm excited about that.
And bro, Villy versus Talbot and or Fleury. That's a fun matchup in net. Oh man. Oh, and then so Colorado Dallas is what it looks like right now. It could be Vegas because again, Vegas has a little bit of time.
So here's the deal with Vegas. We keep talking about them as far as they're chasing Dallas. They're chasing Dallas. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're not chasing Dallas.
Really?
Their best shot of getting in the playoffs is chasing LA.
Oh, you're right.
So because they're 2 points behind Dallas, but Dallas has 2 games at hand.
They're 4 points behind LA.
They have 1 game at hand on the LA Kings,
and they're 4 points behind LA.
4 points behind them. So you win 1 game, you're only 2 points behind them now.
Right.
That's their most realistic path to getting into the playoffs.
You're right. Yeah. And Nashville and Dallas have 2 games in hand on Vegas, which, man, think about so you would get right now, just looking at it, you would get Edmonton, LA, which, dude, the battle at Gretzky, the Gretzky Bowl.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
That'd be kind of cool. I can't.
It would be kind of cool, right?
When was the last time they played each other in the playoffs?
I want to say the early 90s. I want to say like 93.
Damn.
I'm not entirely sure, but that's the furthest back I can think of. If they even did that. Might have just been pulling that out of my ass just to make a Gretzky Bowl story, but because it sounds like that would have been it, right? Especially because I think both Gretzky and Curry were on the Kings in 93.
Okay, here we go. Last time these 2 teams played each other in the playoffs was 1992.
92. I was a year off. Wow.
And the Kings went 2-5 in their 7 playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers.
And then we would get Calgary, Nashville. That sounds kind of snarly, and I like it.
Wow, yeah. The Dave Riddick Bowl.
The Dave Riddick Bowl. I want to see Dave play like game 5. Right?
Assuming that neither team's been swept at that point.
Right. Can you imagine,
Thing, man?
Dude,
To be honest with you, I think Nashville would win that series.
You think so, huh?
Every time we think Calgary has arrived,
they don't. You're right.
I don't trust them. You know, people in the media, we talk a hell of a lot about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, well,
And
yeah, because,
deservedly so.
Absolutely.
But
we just gushed about Austin for like 10 minutes.
But like, it's because they've had so much elite talent and they haven't gotten it done in the playoffs. But God, I mean, it's not to the same extent. But Calgary doesn't get nearly as much shit as they should.
Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk,
Elias Lindholm,
dude, that's one of the best lines in the league.
It is.
It's really one of the best entire full line combinations in the league.
Got Jacob Markstrom in that.
Markstrom in net, even though he's had a lot of gaffes recently, especially that most recent one on Daggetts that we just could not get over against Buffalo.
It was so funny.
It's so wild. Oh my gosh.
Just Jake, man. You're a hell of a goalie. For the love of God, stay in your fucking net.
Stay in the net, dude.
You are most effective when you are in your net.
If you're a goaltender, you know the rest.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you watch Daggetts. Anyway, but yeah, guys like Tkachuk need to, show up. Guys like Johnny need to show up. Guys like Monahan need to show up. Oh my God. Monahan has been like one of the biggest disappointments this Calgary Flames team has had all year long. And we did not talk enough about that.
And it's mainly because they've been playing so damn well that they haven't needed it. But this is a guy who's, to me, he seems like a change of scenery kind of guy, doesn't he?
Could be. I mean, dude,
he's fallen off the last couple of years. 4th
line, getting scratched. This is a guy that was quintessential with Johnny.
It's like Sam Bennett got traded and him and
that too.
Monahan changed bodies.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It was Monahan who actually went to Florida in Sam Bennett's body.
It's like, do you remember the original Scooby-Doo live action movie with Freddie Prinze Jr.? And
I don't. I never really watched Scooby-Doo. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So it's the one with Rowan Atkinson where they're going to Spooky Island.
Mm-hmm. I do like Rowan Atkinson. He's hilarious.
I love Rowan Atkinson. And shout out to one of my favorite actors, Matthew Lillard, who's got some of the best horror range in the world.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Damian Lillard.
Because his role is Shaggy, but then his other stuff in like 13 Ghosts and Scream and stuff, I love Matthew Lillard. Anyway, the whole thing that I'm trying to compare this with Scooby-Doo is there's this like cauldron of souls, right, on Spooky Island. That's like the whole big twist is like this is an actual haunted island where like souls are getting sucked out of people and turn them into goblins. It's really fucking creepy. Like it's crazy. That's kind of what I feel like your comparison with Bennett and Monahan is. It's like Monahan got sucked out, put in the pool, and then just transferred over into Sam Bennett's body. Because there's this whole scene of all the souls like switching through the gang.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just playing hot potato with each other's like bodies.
Yeah. There's
a joke where like Freddy is in Daphne's body and is like, hey. I could look at myself naked. It's such a stupid fucking joke. I love it.
All right, I have a question for you. I want to see how you feel about this. Okay. Florida Panthers,
Yes.
Calgary Flames, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Getting back to hockey, yes.
Which one of those three teams is most likely to finally advance past the first round?
Ooh. The smart fan in me wants to say Florida. The knowledgeable fan in me wants to say Florida.
So say Florida.
My brain says Florida. My heart says Toronto. Like, please. And I'm not listen. Come on.
And the rest of your body says, "Fuck you, Calgary."
The rest of my body says, dude, I gotta, like, you know how you have your shitting problem at the end of these shows? I have a piss problem at the end of these shows, and we gotta hurry.
I'm dead. Yeah.
All right. So that's really the playoff preview right now. And obviously, once the playoffs start, we're really going to ramp it up and talk about it.
Well, we're going to do brackets.
Hell yeah, we're doing brackets. What the hell?
Mine's going to be better than yours.
I want to look back at a couple of guys, and then we're going to reflect on this Dwayne Haskins thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know if anything broke over the last hour, but like, what the hell? Oh, car accident. God damn.
He was down training with teammates in Florida, and yeah, passing car hit him.
It's about like the Fernandez thing with the boat accident.
I don't know where it was, somewhere in South Florida, but I don't know where specifically it was in that.
I mean, we can at least just mention that. That's really fucking wow.
Yeah.
Buckeye kid thought he was going to make it. Really thought he was going to get that starting job in Pittsburgh, maybe. If he could pump up his numbers well enough. But like, whoa, that's just sudden and wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tough on that. Rest in peace, Dwayne. Like, we loved you.
Dwayne Haskins, for real.
We loved you, but in Scarlet and Gray,
God,
brother.
I loved him so much at Ohio State. I remember I literally got his jersey for
Oh, did you?
Got drafted.
That's awesome.
That is, yeah. Damn.
That's a shame though, because he's literally like, you know, we thought he was going to bounce around and finally get a starting job, and now he's not going to get anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so bad for his family, because who knows if they just found out. Who knows? We talk about how players don't find out about getting claimed on waivers or traded or whatever, and then the family does through like Twitter and shit.
It's even worse when there's like a major death.
Imagine if, yeah, exactly.
Remember when Kobe Bryant died, and like it was reported before they ever let Vanessa know about it.
Oh, that's ugly.
Yeah,
that's ugly, especially because it was his daughter in there too.
Yeah,
it's just like, ugh. Yeah, that's ugly when like family finds out through like a reporter on Twitter through any of this kind of stuff. I want to look back on a couple of careers to end this, because Ryan Getzlaf's retiring after this season.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's a Hall of Famer, first and foremost?
No.
There are some cases.
I love him. But the problem is the play. Like, what hurts this case are the players who aren't in.
Mm-hmm.
And his lack of individual awards.
Yes, he's only had a couple, and he's got the cup.
He's got the cup, but like he doesn't have really any individual awards at all. He's it's crazy. A one-time All-Star.
Only a one-time All-Star for Ryan Getzlaf. Yeah,
it's weird, but a great player, hell of a player, unbelievable,
amazing power forward.
Yes.
This dude, Getzy, it was pretty much Anaheim's ultimate captain.
Yeah.
Like it's him and Timu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll, they're both going to go down as the best captains the Ducks have ever had. And Getzlaf passed Timu's record for all-time points as a Duck this year.
Yeah.
He's going to end with over 1,000 points, all with the Ducks.
He's going to go down as the best Duck ever.
Probably is, yeah. I would definitely make the case for that. He's absolutely getting retired ASAP. 15's going up on the rafters of Honda Center as soon as possible.
But yeah, I just, my heart definitely says, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. But
my heart is absolutely wanting him in the Hall.
Everything I know about hockey, he's not.
There's so many players that deserve it.
He is the Hall of a very, very good and awesome.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is it isn't the Hall of very good.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of guys that we would think would have been in the Hall of Fame, like a Getzlaf, like a Theron Fleury, right? That just somehow they have credentials that could put them in there, but they just don't get in. Is it just that they don't have enough of the credentials, really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you need to meet a certain number of credentials, certain number of points, certain number of cups, certain number of individual hardware?
I don't think championships really matter in the grand scheme of things.
He's got some international accolades too. Like, he's won stuff for Canada.
I just don't think
he's got medals for Canada.
I don't think that those factor in.
Some of them kind of do. I'm pretty sure at least a few have gotten in.
The problem is
the help of the international stuff, international competitions.
It's not enough for him.
It's really such a shame.
Ultimately, you won at least 1,000 games. You won at least 1,000 points.
Yep, and he's got all of that.
Won at least 300 goals.
I don't know where his goal scoring is. I think he's 4. He's at least 3-4.
Is he? Let's see.
I don't know what his career stats are off the top of my head. He's definitely like the ultimate leader.
He's a great leader. He's at 282.
282. Oh, he's just gonna miss that.
And here's the thing, man. He's played 1150, 1,013 points. But again, it's like not a point per game player. Never eclipsed 100. I mean, it's yeah. How many he's had in his career? Let's see here. One. Let's see. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's had 7 point per game seasons out of how many has he been in the NHL?
He was drafted in 2003, and then I think he was a rookie when they won the cup.
17 seasons. So 7 out of 17 of his seasons, he was a point per game player.
That's not too terrible.
No, it's not terrible at all. He's a great player, but I don't think it's enough.
That's really.
And I love Getsy. I really do, man.
I love me some Getz.
But it's one-time Cup winner, one-time All-Star. He didn't win.
The one-time All-Star really surprises me, though.
Yeah, it's crazy, but didn't win the Conn Smythe. It's not like against it. It's just not having any hardware at all.
Not even having like a Messier, which is weird.
Yeah.
Because you would think you would at least have 1 or 2 of those. like a Messier Leadership Award or a King Clancy or one of those.
Yeah.
One of the smaller trophies, maybe. Right? Because what did he win? Like a Bing? He won like one Bing, I think.
No.
No?
Like, no, literally one-time All-Star, one-time Stanley Cup champion. That's it.
That's it? No individual trophies?
None.
Oh my God.
So you see where I'm coming from here with that. Like it really hurts his case.
Yeah.
He's one of those players who feels like a Hall of Famer.
He like the aura around his career and his story is legendary enough. Yes.
Yeah. He's not a Hall of Famer, but in everybody's heart he is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's how it is. You hear Ryan Getzlaf, you feel Hall of Famer, but he isn't.
Which is just it's a shame. It's a shame. But I mean, yeah, like
congrats to him.
Absolutely. He's deserved everything that he's had. He's deserved way more. And his friendship and partnership with Corey Perry when they were together for all those years.
Oh, they were unreal.
There's such dynamite. The chemistry, like, I don't know if Timu ended up playing on his wing at any point. But like, just getting to play with Timo Solani, right?
Yeah. Well, they were great together.
He's played with so many great Ducks. And he's one of the greatest Ducks, if not the greatest Duck at this rate.
Yep. I think he is the greatest Duck. Maybe you can make an argument for Corey Perry, but I would say what hurts Corey Perry's case is the fact that
he left.
It's well, he ended up getting bought out, so it wasn't really his choice.
That too.
But it's the fact that Getzlaf was a Duck for life.
Yeah. And then the other guy I want to bring up, the Blackhawks are retiring Hossa's 81 next year.
Yeah, good for Hoss. I love Hoss.
Quintessential to all three cups.
Yep.
And then it was really, really, really tragic what brought him out.
Yeah, what was it, the staph infection that he just...
It was a skin condition.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was exactly like a staph infection became from that, but it was I
think the staph infection with like some of his equipment and stuff like that kind of led to the skin condition, if I'm not mistaken.
He ended up getting like an allergic reaction to a lot of stuff with his equipment. And I have a quote right here from Hossa on it. It began 4 years before my last season, which I think he ended in 2017, right? He left in like 17, 18. And it kept intensifying each year. I started noticing patches of irritated skin, especially in places where gear wraps up around the body, like the elbow pads, etc. It started itching, later became so unbearable that he was scratching it until it was bloody.
Ew.
I know. He says, my wife was grabbing my hands. I couldn't sleep in short sleeves since my bed was all bloody, and my wife had to wash the sheets constantly. And then the doctors gave me the meds, which he took to keep playing during his final year. So he was on medication in order to play through his last year.
Wow.
It's one of the weirdest ways I think I've seen a guy go out.
Yeah, it's not something I've ever seen before.
No. It's definitely one of the more unique ways I've seen a player have to end his career.
Yeah.
But more or less tragically, because we've seen it with concussions.
He got out of Chicago before things got bad. So
that too. We've seen guys rule out because of concussions. We've seen what happened with Mario with first the cancer diagnosis, and then he came back, and then his back just gave out on him.
Yeah.
Apparently, we've seen guys just quit because they felt like they couldn't do it anymore. Like Gretzky's quote was like, I scored 9 goals all season. I think I'm done.
One of the greatest quotes of all time. Him literally just being like, yeah, I scored 9 goals this season. I used to do that in a weekend. It's time for me to leave.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
But then, you get stories where guys just kind of whimper out too. Shaw was concussions. Correa was concussions.
Lindros.
A lot of it's concussions, especially because the league doesn't give a fuck, which has to change.
NHL or NFL? Can't tell the difference.
But then you get stuff like this, which is really weird and unique.
Yeah. But good for Hoss.
And very unfortunate the way he went out, because ugh. But very, very good for Hoss. He was, legendary center, legendary thrasher, which kind of hard to come by. Right? And legendary Blackhawk. And it's really nice that he's getting his number retired in United Center.
I agree.
And this is honestly, I think this is the first step in, because they had a legacy night for Hjalmarsson, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he gets retired until soon, like a couple seasons from now or whatever.
Yeah.
But Hossa is the first number that's being retired that is pretty much the end to that 2010s dynasty, right? It's the beginning of the end for the 2010s dynasty.
Yes. For better or for worse.
For better or for worse. And who knows? Like, we're going to see Kane and Taves up there.
Yeah.
For sure. And if the new generation keeps going, we might see Cat up there.
I hope we see Cat up there.
I would love to see Cat up there, wouldn't you?
Cat would be great up there. But the key, he's got to stay in Chicago. They gotta find a way to make sure that.
They got to build around him.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have. So we have tonight against Detroit, and that's it. We don't have another game until.
Yeah.
We don't have another game afterwards until Wednesday, and then another Saturday game.
Not the worst thing.
Which is a late game because it's in LA.
I will not be able to do next Saturday. I will be in Vegas.
Well, you might be able to catch the Kings game at a decent time then.
Yeah.
I'll try to make a few clips out of our next couple of shows then and just get better at that again. Because again, we're sorry with life getting in the way, but it kind of does that.
Yeah, life has a tendency.
Life finds a way.
It finds a way.
Little Jeff Goldblum. Oh man, I love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Good to see you. And it's good to see all of you back. And yeah. 100 followers on Twitter. Go follow JJ Jackets Pod and keep us growing. Let's go.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.